Hi guys, and welcome to the last lesson in this series. Today we are going to be looking at empirical and molecular formula. So let's get started. So let's quickly take a look at what the difference is between an empirical formula and a molecular formula. So your empirical formula is the chemical formula of a compound that shows the smallest whole number ratio of atoms, whereas your molecular formula shows you what the actual ratio is between your atoms in a molecule. So your molecular formula is the formula that shows you exactly how many of which elements atoms are connected to each other to form the molecule, whereas your empirical formula is just the simplest ratio. So for example, I could have peroxide, which is H2O2. So this is the molecular formula, the actual formula that shows you it's two hydrogens that is connected to two oxygen atoms. So it shows the actual ratio, 2 to 2. Whereas your empirical formula is the simplest ratio. So instead of writing 2 to 2, it's 1 to 1. So it becomes HO. So that is the empirical formula. So let's go and look at an example. Okay, so how do I determine the empirical formula and the molecular formula? Well, firstly, if you don't have any formula whatsoever, you have to determine the empirical formula before you can determine the molecular formula. So what you're going to do is I'm going to need, remember, empirical formula, I need the smallest whole number ratio of the atoms. So I need the number of moles of each atom in my sample. Why do I need the mole and not the mass? Because remember, mole is a grouping term for molecules. So I want to know how many molecules of each element are there so that I can determine the simplest ratio. So that's why I'm working towards mole the whole time. So let's look at this example. It says an oxide of sulfur contains 40% of sulfur and 60% of oxygen. Determine the empirical formula. So if they would have given you mass, it would have been easy because I could have just used this formula with the mass of my element over the molar mass of that element. But now I don't have mass, I have the percentage composition. So what you can do is, if we, for example, assume I have a sample of 100 grams, that means that if 40% is sulfur, that means that 40 grams of the 100 is sulfur and 60 grams of my sample is oxygen. So I can actually use my percentage composition as a mass value. So I'm going to use this formula, that's my step 1, to determine the moles of each of my elements. So I'm going to start with sulfur. The mass I use will be 40 over the molar mass, which is 32, and then I get the number of moles, which is 1.25, and the same for my oxygen. Remember formula and the values and everything. Oxygen's molar mass is 16, and then that gives me 3.75 moles. So that's always step 1. You determine the mole of your elements. Now step 2 is I'm going to do the ratio. So I'm going to say that the ratio of the sulfur to my oxygen is 1.25 to 3.75. But remember, I need a whole number ratio. I don't have any molecular or empirical formula that has decimals inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by the smallest number. I'm going to divide by, this is my smallest number. So that tells me the ratio then is 1 to 3. So that means that for each sulfur there is 3 oxygens. So it's sulfur trioxide. Okay, so that's how you determine the empirical formula. That's all there is to it. If this wasn't a whole number, let's say you got 1.002 or you got 2.998. If it's very, very close to the number, then you can round up or down. But if it's in the middle, let's say this one was 3.5, you can't round that up and down. It's too far in between. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to multiply the entire ratio by 2. So it becomes 2 to 7. Okay, but that's only if I didn't get a whole number, but luckily I got a whole number for that one. Okay, so that's all there is to question 1. But now, for question 2, they ask me, determine the molecular formula if the molecular mass of my compound is 160 gram per mole. So I need to know, firstly, what the molar mass of my empirical formula is, so that I know how does the weight of this compare to the actual weight. Because if this weight and that weight is the same, then it means the empirical formula is the same as the molecular formula. But if the mass of my empirical formula is half the mass of my molecular formula, it means I only have half the number of atoms. So it means I have to double all of this. So I'm going to work out the molar mass of my sulfur trioxide, which is 32 plus 3 times 16, and I get a mass of 80 grams per mole. And then I see that this weight is actually half the weight of that one. So it means I need to multiply this entire thing by 2. Okay, so this isn't the correct molecular, this isn't the correct molecular formula. This is actually the correct molecular formula, but I decided to throw this in just to show you how it would have worked if the mass of my empirical formula isn't the same as the mass of my molecular formula. But this is actually the molecular formula, just for clarity's sake. But I changed it. I decided to change it so that you can see what to do if the weights didn't correspond. So there you have it, everything you need to know about empirical and molecular formula. 5 very, very easy marks.